Show. I'm Gabriella Kreuz alongside the top dog. There's a little hurt in that bark.
You see, that bark is a little extra. Roll, Tide, roll.
Oh, man.
Alabama, yamma, jamma, roll, Tide, roll. Now, what do you got to say to that?
Now, that I didn't know that's where you were going, but that makes a lot of sense.
What do you have to say to that? The biggest game of college football this year. Number 4, Alabama. Number 2, Georgia. 2 SEC teams. And what do you think happened? Alabama beat up on Georgia. Boy, what a great game.
Just a reminder that Hanford did not go to Alabama.
No, but he's from Mobile, Alabama, and he had a scholarship to Alabama. I just decided to go to Southern Mississippi. But boy, am I big.
Few family members who hold it to you.
Oh, am I big. It's funny because Gab, my niece.
That's what's keeping you on. That was the only news of the weekend, huh?
Well, my niece, she goes to the University of Alabama, and she called me at the last minute, wanted 2 tickets to that Alabama-Georgia game. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me? 2 tickets to the Alabama-Georgia game, and you know how tough. That's like saying you want 2 tickets to the Browns and the Steelers game, and both teams are playing for they're in the playoffs, they're playing each other. So that's what that's like. But I still
pull through or what?
I still managed between me and Ozzy. We were able to pull off those 2 tickets for her. So she was really, really happy. But I had to get that in. Alabama beat up. But boy, I tell you, I'll say this real quick, and I'll jump off that subject. But what a great ball game. I mean, you just thought this game was over. And then I think in that particular game, we saw a little bit of everything that you wanted to see in a college football game. It was just a great game. And I give all my friends at Ohio State a hard time because all my buddies with the Buckeyes, when are you guys going to play somebody? I mean, when are you going to play somebody? But I'll say this about Ohio State. I love Ohio State. Ohio State have a lot of good athletes, pro athletes, and I'll say it time and time again. I think Ohio State should come over to the SEC because they are just that good. So I give them.
It would be even more interesting. For you. Then we'd really hear it on this show.
I give them a hard time, but I know how good Ohio State is. I'll say that so they don't jump all over me.
You're Bama out of the gates here because you're probably in denial about some other team we talk about a lot on this show that you used to play for.
Oh, don't even start me there.
Just another L for us. How you feeling? You healed from that yet?
Well, I'll say this real quick. Alabama's got the number 1 rating. They're back now to number 1. But talking about, hey, did you see? I don't know if you've ever been to a Raiders football game. Have you ever been to a Raiders football game in their stadium?
I have not.
Well, the reason why I'm asking this question is because it's something to see. If you watch the game and you look up in the stands, and what they do is they wear all these crazy outfits. I mean, it's
I
not.
can imagine.
Yeah,
in that environment, Vegas.
Yeah, and most other couples, I mean, they kind of interact with each other with all these outfits, and they got all these headpieces, and they call themselves In the Black Hole. That's what that stadium is called. It's like we have the dog pound. Yep. They have the black hole. And it's just, it's crazy. Quick story. I thought I was going to get drafted by then it was the Oakland Raiders. Now it's the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought I was going to get drafted by them. And instead they took a defensive back named Ted Watts out of Texas Tech, a cornerback, with their number 1 pick. And obviously I came to the Browns. But I remember, I'll make this short too. I remember when we were stretching, and I probably said this before, Al Davis, who was the original owner, I think Mr. Davis passed, but he was the original owner of the LA Raiders. He come up to me while we're stretching, we're getting ready to play him, and he said, Dixon. And I'm looking up, and he said, you wish you were a Raider, don't you? I'm looking at him. I'm saying, wish I was a Raider. So I go tell Mr. Modell, Art, and I said, Art, Al Davis come up to me talking when we were stretching, said, I wish I was a Raider. Art said, you go tell Al Davis I said to stay away from you. And I'm just a little kid, I was still a rookie then. So I'm like, I'm not telling Al Davis nothing. You go tell Al Davis. But I love to tell my my Raider story. But
do you wish you were a Raider?
Hell no!
That's what we thought.
I'm a dog pound man.
He's a dog. He's a top dog.
Even though it's not going as planned.
I will say, look what you created, though. You see how many fans traveled to Vegas. This dog pound, these fans are. That's why it's so disappointing. We had the fans travel. It's Las Vegas. It's a team that feels beatable, and things were going our way for the first quarter.
Well, I have to say this. That's why I'm shocked today, because I thought you, Pat, I thought Ken, Angry Ken, I thought all of you guys were going to be in Vegas, and we were going to, I
got to work baseball. You know this, man. We got postseason time.
Well, I'm glad you guys are here, but I just thought so. But anyway, that was a good opening. That's all I want to say about this opening.
That's all you want to say about this opening.
Yeah.
We'll get more into the details. We got to take our little break. But did you have a good weekend?
I had a great weekend,
okay,
Gab. What about you?
It was solid. I worked baseball all weekend, and we were hoping to see Hosey pull off that 40-40.
Yeah,
Bummer, but,
I'm glad you mentioned that really
quick.
quick.
A fire for him for the post.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. I was wondering why that normally when they cancel a game they try to make it up, but they couldn't do that because
just based on where we are.
The Astros are in the playoffs and they have to play. But boy, it'd have been nice to see him get 40, 40, and 40. That would have been nice. But we're in the playoffs, so we're happy about that.
I think that'll light a fire for him.
Can we talk more about this at the end of the show?
Yes.
You promise?
Sure. You know it. I know
okay.
He's such a big fan.
Good deal.
A
Good
little
deal.
bit of a positive note for us to end on, probably.
Let's
take our first break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We are going to start breaking down a little bit of this Browns loss. Hopefully not for too long, guys. It's starting to get emotionally painful, but we did bring back a familiar face. He's particularly angry today. I'm just waiting to see what kind of grades he dishes out. Angry Ken is back in studio with us. Hanford, I don't know. There's a lot to be angry about. I wonder where he's going to start.
Well, I could tell you this. He's angry, and but I don't have a problem with him being angry today. But I could tell you, I don't have to tell you, he is angry today.
Well, we've got some questions for you too. We want to hear from the top dog on your takes, because I wouldn't be surprised if Angry Ken and you.
I'm getting angry. It's taking so long. Let's
disagree.
Get over to it.
What are you most angry about?
All right, first of all, I got to welcome everybody to the Dog Pound here over in the Big Play Studios. As we know, our friend Hanford is the originator of the Dog Pound. What we're going to do is we're going to start having the Dog Pound ask questions. But I got to tell you, the Dog Pound is going crazy as a result of that opening segment. Here's the grade that the Dog Pound is giving you for all the Alabama talk on that opening segment.
Hey, everybody from Alabama said, "What is he talking about?"
All right, we're gonna get right in. All right. Let's just get right into the game. There was a lot of plays that turned things around. The Dog Pound's gonna ask questions, but I'm gonna jump a little bit off script because one of the plays that absolutely turned things around was Deshaun Watson's pass that hit Amari Cooper right between the numbers, deflection, touchdown. Hanford, where did Amari go to school?
He went to Alabama, big dog.
Did they teach him how to be receivers in Alabama?
Now, you wasn't saying that last week with Amari. Now, Amari had a big game last week, 2 touchdowns. He was ready to go. But Amari would be the first one to tell you guys that that's a play that he's got to make. I mean,
does Alabama have a jugs machine? Somebody's got to do something about that. All right, so many things.
If it wasn't for that Nick Harris holding, I mean, he was going to have a nice little 82-yard touchdown later.
Well, let's go right there. Hanford, holding call on Nick Harris, wiped out Amari Cooper's 83-yard TD. What do you think? I think we got the picture there.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that's really, really a tough one because there was a few plays I think that they made that could have easily won us this ball game. But Nick will be the first one to tell you that the officials are going to make that call every time. Now, when you look at it, I know what you're going to say, Ken, and I agree with you 100% because they can call holding on every single play against Myles Garrett. Every single play they can call holding on him because those guys hold him. Even when they're double teaming him, they're holding him. But you can't put yourself in a position to make the officials make that call. And I think that's what happened because, you can keep your hands in here. As long as you keep your hands in here, it's going to be okay. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to make that call. But once your hands get extended, then we have a problem, and they're going to make that call. You know what? I could tell you guys this, and I know you guys were doing the same thing I was doing. When Deshaun threw that ball, and Amari caught that ball, and he was streaking into the end zone, I didn't know it was a flag. I was just jumping up.
No one did.
No one did, and we're like, that's the best pass we've seen from Deshaun all year.
Yeah, and I was so excited. What was it, 82 yards?
Yeah.
82
Hey, producer
yards.
Pat, do we have that shot? All right, because I'm gonna disagree with you, Hanford. I get it. You can't extend your arms, but he had legally a right to be holding onto that jersey because he had his shoulder to shoulder, and then at the last second the guy turns. And he was in the process of letting it go. I mean, literally 3 fingers on the jersey. That's not holding.
But see, here's what you said. You said he was in the process of letting him go. But see, what you can't do, and if that official catch you holding on to that jersey the way he was holding, and listen to me, I have no gripe with you. I agree with you. I see what you're saying. Me, if I was the official, especially if I'm biased toward the Cleveland Browns, there's no way I would have made that call. I would have kept that flag in my pocket. But when you get those arms and when you get everything extended out a little bit where they can see you clamping the jersey, if they see it, they're obligated to make that call. And that's what. We're all hurt. I mean, we're all hurt by the call. I mean, it was just crazy. It's one of those fluke plays yesterday that cost us. I think one of the plays that cost us the ball game. Not the only play that cost us the game.
What about the Nick Harris? Speaking of Nick Harris, that snapping the ball when Deshaun wasn't looking, that had the fumble and it cost us 6 yards. What do you think? Who's at fault there?
Well, only person that really know what happened, there's 2 people, Nick and Deshaun, because a lot of people think they go on sound, but they're not really going on sound. What they're going on is so loud in the stadium, they're going on the movement of his leg. And in this case, Deshaun's right leg. And what Deshaun would do would raise his right leg in the air. And when he raises his right leg in the air, he's got to be prepared for that snap at any minute right there. That gives Nick the time, knowing that he can snap the ball right now that Deshaun is ready for the ball. Now, Ken, you brought up a very, very good observation on this. And I think where you saw was Deshaun's leg move a little bit to the...
He was giving an instruction to the running back. I'm trying to think of who was it. Was it
Ford?
Yeah. Was it
Foreman?
Foreman was in there,
Okay.
and I think Deshaun was trying to move him into a different position.
Okay.
And so he turned to the right. And at first I thought it was going on sound, but you pointed out they're not going on sound in a loud visitors environment like that.
Right.
But the movement of the leg, he turns his body and moves his right leg to talk to Foreman, and I don't know if that's threw Nick off. Once again, though, you know what I get back to? These guys didn't play together in the off-season, in the preseason.
Yeah.
It comes back to those things.
And absolutely, I agree. And I think that's the problem they had. And I think when Nick saw that he moved his leg, when he was trying to get Foreman in the right position, and you could obviously see Deshaun was not expecting that ball.
No.
I mean, his head was turned. He was looking totally to his left, and all of a sudden the ball, and we're just lucky the ball bounced right back to him.
Well, I'll give Deshaun a little bit of credit because I'm not giving a lot of credit for yesterday's game, unlike most people on air today. But that was an athletic play to keep the ball there. I'll give him that.
Boy, I tell you what, when you look at that offense, though, guys, I mean, we have some problems with that offense.
With the offense, a lot of people, maybe on X and in the internet world, Dog Pound fans want to know, one of the decisions that might have helped the Browns win the game was when Stefanski, that decision to not kick a 58-yard field goal at the end of the first half. What do you think that decision was based off of? Another analytics thing? Because shortly before that, we had kicked how many yards was it? From
54,
Hopkins,
56. There's another 50-yard plus field goal.
56-yard field goal from Hopkins.
And by the way, the announcer goes, that would have been good from 60 yards. I mean, it was right down the middle.
Yeah.
And it's in a dome.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder, was that the right decision?
No, I agree with you. I would have kicked that. I would have kicked that because I think actually I thought it was 56. It might have been 58.
56.
I thought it was 56 yard. And even if you have to have confidence in your defense. You got a defense that's playing pretty well. Like obviously last year the #1 defense in the NFL, and at worst, the defense is only going to give up 3 points. You have to believe in your defense, and I just don't know why we didn't do that. Why we didn't kick it? And I thought that was a major mistake. And again, I think we depend too much on this analytic stuff anyway. I hate it. Again, I'm an old school guy. I like old school football, and before you're going to go in a computer and tell you what to do. That's
all right. I'll give you old school from the Dog Pound, Hanford. Critical play of the game, 4th down at the end. Deshaun Watson.
How did I know you were going there?
Oh, my gosh. How the heck can you take a sack there? Hanford, tell us what was going on, and there's no way you could defend that play.
Well, I knew you was going there. When you open your mouth, I knew exactly where you were going on that particular play.
Look, everybody look up at the screen. Look what we got there. Those receivers are wide open, Hanford.
And I think it was 4th and what was it, 3?
4th and 3, ball game on the line.
Yeah, I think it was 4th and 3.
If we don't make it there, they run out of the clock.
Left in the game, yeah.
But
come on.
You know what we used to always say as a defensive player? We always used to say, pressure would bust a pipe.
Yes.
And
I'm glad you're bringing back this lingo.
And we would always say,
pressure make a pipe burst. I've used that before now.
Yes. And we always say on defense, we don't care how good the quarterback is. When you put that pressure on him, when you put that fire on him, he will turn into an average quarterback. And I'm telling you, you saw it yesterday on certain occasions. These guys, in that situation, they were coming. And you got to give – you can't take a sack. You can't take a sack in that situation. You have to give your guy a chance to make a play. Yeah. Because if you take a sack, what's going to happen is what happened yesterday.
We lose.
You lose the ball game, and there's only 30-some seconds. I think 32, 33, whatever it was.
Matter of fact, we got the look. Was he claiming decoy? Decoy? I'm running here. RPO you tried to school me on last week?
Yeah.
And he's going to run there?
Well,
and then, by the way, Hanford, if he's going to scramble, why is he scrambling to his left? Then he's going to have to turn his body. There's no chance. At least scramble your right and throw it across the middle. What happens.
But see, here's what happened. The reason why he was going to his left, because they forced him to his left. They wouldn't let him go to the right because the defensive guys, they're smart too.
Wait. Hold on. Look at that picture. Who's forcing him to go left?
Do you see?
Who's forcing him to go left? It's wide open to the right.
Do you see this defensive end right there to our right, to their left?
And he's being blocked.
But he's keeping his outside leverage. He's not going to let Deshaun. He might let him go underneath him, but he's not. His job is not to keep containment and not let him go outside of him. And if you're going to force him, you're going to force him to his left, because that throw going to his left is a lot harder for him than him making that throw to his right.
I'll hand it to the defense. They got him to do it. But my point is that's a mistake. I don't know if we could see more of that shot there, producer Pat. But look, okay, you got more pressure on the left side than you do on the right. Look, first of all, he should be throwing it. Why isn't he not stepping up right there and throwing the ball? I mean, we got receivers. It's 4th and 3. You got to get that ball out of your hands. But let's say he's going to commit to that run. He's got only one guy to beat on the right side.
I agree. I agree. You can't take a sack, and I've said it. You can't take a sack, because if you take a sack
letter grade for Deshaun Watson as a result of that play. What do you give him? Hey, he played better. I'll give him credit. He played better. But when you cost your team the game like that, sorry. I don't see Baker Mayfield doing that. I don't see Joe Flacco doing that. I don't see Patrick Mahomes doing that.
But see, here's what you got to understand, the big picture, and you know this, Ken, and Gab, you know this. It's not, and the players will be the first one to tell you, one particular play is not the reason you lost the game.
Sure.
I don't want to hear that anymore. That last play is the reason why we lost the game.
One particular play is not the reason why you lost the game. I guarantee you can go back, and the guys did today. They sit in that film room, they go over that film, and there is numerous of plays that they could have made in order to win this ball game. That's just one particular play. And obviously, that play hurt. I mean, that play hurt because now we remember that play because it's the end.
It comes down to the wire.
It comes down to the wire, and it's the end of the ball game. But when you look at it, guys, I mean, here's what I have to say.
There's so much. All right, you go.
Let me say this real quick. We scored 10 points. We scored 10 points, and we scored all 10 points in the first quarter. I mean, after the first quarter, we did absolutely nothing. When you look at it, we have 4 games where in those 4 games, we have yet to score more than 18 points. I think you and I were talking about this a little bit.
Right.
We have yet to score.
We just can't.
I mean, we're ranked 26 in the National Football League in scoring. How many teams are we going to be ranked 26? I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Las Vegas moved the odds. The over-under now 6 wins for the Browns. And I don't even see them getting 6. Hanford, who takes the blame for the offense right now?
Well, and that's something we're really going to get into because I think Stefanski have to take some of this blame. I think because you look at it, we got rid of Van Pelt. We got rid of Van Pelt. We got rid of our offensive line coach. We got rid of and now we have an offense that's just a mess right now.
So Hanford,
I mean, it's just a mess.
Question before we go to the break: is it time for Stefanski to hand over play calling to our offensive coordinator? See what he can do with this. Yeah, Dorsey. I mean, it's his offense. Does Stefanski calling the right game plan? It doesn't seem like it, especially when Stefanski says, I should have called a better play on the last play that cost us the game.
Ken, you know how hard it is for those guys, those head coaches, once they start calling plays, it's just so hard for them to give it up. It's just not going to happen. And I don't know. If he was going to give it up, I thought he should have done it during training camp.
Oh, well, the offense looks really great the way it's working now. I could see why we don't make any changes.
We got to take a break, guys. We'll be back with you right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show as we drag our feet through trying to dissect another Browns loss over here. We're trying to keep it positive vibes, but we do have Angry Ken in studio. And I think, not to double down here, but what were your thoughts on Deshaun Watson?
Well, I think my Deshaun Watson towel speaks for itself. Instead of going and talking to the team, he's walking around with the towel over his head. But, we were mentioning it before. It sounds like there might be some fractures in the locker room. Gab, you were pointing out something on somebody's dad?
Elijah Moore's dad tweeting about the lack of targets and, one target. And now we got someone's dad. We've had that before. And it kind of does break up a locker room, break up some of the camaraderie. What do you think that does to a locker room?
I was going to say, wait a minute, guys. How did I miss this one now?
You got to be on Twitter.
I know. Is it Twitter or X or what is it?
Well, it starts with getting rid of your flip phone.
Did I miss this or something?
No, it's definitely happening. But here's a question. So, Hanford, have you ever been in a locker room where that type of stuff starting to happen? And is Stefanski on the brink of losing the locker room?
Well, I could tell you this. There's no way that any of our guys or, our parents, and I just never heard of anything like this, any of our parents going on. Well, we didn't have X or whatever then when I played, but to just talk to the press or something and say something about our team like that, I mean, that's a no-no. And I would be embarrassed myself if my parents did that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you know what? The one thing that we got to go to right now is the fact that there's so many angry people in the dog pound right now. It's time for the garage beer anger meter. Last week it was a 10. This week, do we change it? How can we change it? In fact, if the meter would go any further, it would be an 11 or a 12. The garage beer anger meter at a 10, but the only thing that can help that is one of those icy cold garage beer with lime. And I got to tell you, after that first one went down yesterday, the second one was even better. And then I calmed down right until I sat down in the chair today and had to hear about Alabama. But I don't know. Hanford, where do we go from here?
Roll, Tide, roll. That's all I'm going to say. Well, I'm interested in your take before we move on Watson. Yesterday. And I want to hear you. You go first, Gab, and then let Ken go. What's your take on Watson yesterday?
He played better. He looked more athletic, but I still feel like judging by the last play alone, I feel like he's got to have a lack of confidence though still. How are you going to second guess something like that? Should be a no-brainer that you got to get the ball up. So part of me is just like, ooh, are we just still not on the same page? Is the coach not instilling the confidence in him? Is he trying to accommodate with certain things that are going to make it easier for Deshaun? Because that can't be good either. You got to be like that's what something Terry Francona did very well with our baseball team. We heard from Rajay Davis on our other show. Like when you put that confidence in the guy and let him know, no, we're putting you out there. We believe in this. This is what we got to do. I was confused by him second guessing on something like that. So it's disappointing. He played better, though.
Leroy Bickerstaff, Deshaun Watson, whoever you are, somebody's got to teach this guy how to try and draw the other team off sides. How ridiculous is it to stand in the shotgun on fourth down and not say anything and thinking that they're going to jump off, then with 7 seconds left on the play clock, just yell, one hut, then nothing happens, and then he turns and walks to the sideline. You look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at all these other, they got movement, they're jumping around, they're rushing to the line, then they come back. Come on, nothing's happening. Hanford, can you tell me that is acceptable?
Well, let me say this, and my take on him. Obviously, yesterday he was 24 for 32, 176 yards, 1 interception. I think he was sacked 3 times. And I think to date, when you look at his numbers, he's had 18 touchdowns and 12 INTs, which is interceptions, which is not great. I thought yesterday, I thought he played decent. I thought he played better. I thought he played well enough for us to win. But I think here's what we're missing. See, when we signed Deshaun to the $230 million contract, we were expecting the guy that have explosive plays, high-scoring offense, and to date right now, that just hasn't happened.
Hanford,
it hasn't happened.
You're hitting the nail on the head. This is why I'm so angry. You're asking why am I so angry? We gave up draft picks. We gave up money. We got salary cap issues. We got off-the-field issues. And he's the 25th best quarterback out of 32 quarterbacks. And by the way, all these yards and completions, they were 3-yard dump passes. His primary receiver was the check down guy yesterday. Not acceptable. 3rd and 7, and he throws a 3-yard pass.
Yeah, and I think, and when you look at it, we haven't seen that guy since last year. And I think the games we saw that, I think it was an Arizona game, 3 games last year. It was Arizona, Baltimore, and I think Tennessee. Those were the 3 games that he was explosive. That was the guy we thought we were going to get. But again, yesterday, I thought he played well enough to win, guys. I thought he did. I thought he played well enough.
You know who played well enough to win yesterday? Joe Flacco coming in off the bench, first pass, 10 yards, drive, TD. Joe Flacco would be looking darn good in that Browns uniform right now.
The reality is we don't have Joe Flacco.
Bring him
our
back.
schedule's getting a lot tougher, and we got to be part of the solution here. What would you say if you're managing this team, like, is the thing that needs to happen when we look ahead at Commanders?
We got to look at it. We got to look at the film. We got to let it go. We got to forget about it. We have to concentrate now because, and we're going to talk about this team that's coming up, Washington Commanders. This is the team that's playing very, very well, very, very well.
Is this a must-win?
This is a must-win because
Gab must win.
I thought this past week was a must-win.
Then this is a must-win.
This has got to be a must-win. Listen, I'm getting exasperated talking about this anymore. I think we got to look ahead, and we'll do our hard hit of the game, of course, when we come back. But let's take another break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Lipton Hard Iced Tea Hard Hits of the Game. We're joined by regular Ken this time around. No angry Ken, just straight up Ken.
By the way, that angry Ken, I just saw him in the parking lot. That guy screaming something about Alabama, running across the highway. Good riddance.
He's actually a big Alabama fan.
He is?
Yes, he is.
Oh, that dog.
Well,
he is a
get out of here, Top Dog.
He said he liked Alabama and Nick Saban. That's what he said.
What a nut.
We're having too much fun on
We'll
this
see what
show.
he says next week about that.
Hey, Ken, I feel like, speaking of hard hits, you seem like you came prepared for one.
Well, I got to say, this guy has been playing in spite of everything. So in honor of Jeremiah Wasu Koramora, J.O.K., the Lipton Hard Iced Tea Hard Knock of the game for me goes to him. Man, that guy's playing like a dog. Hanford. That's my hard knock.
And
okay.
And he's my favorite too. I like him. I like the way he plays, and again, smart kid.
No notes for that guy.
Am I next?
Yes.
Oh, I was waiting on you to tee me up, but that's okay. You did it already.
Nice teed you up.
Guys, I have to say this, and this is my favorite part: watching the game and trying to decide which hit is going to be my Lipton's hard iced tea on the show. And I have to go back to this guy. I've kind of felt sorry for this guy. Did you guys see him, 𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘? Did you see him? I mean, every time I turn around, somebody was hitting him. But on this particular play, he got hit. I thought we picked him up in the air and we body slammed him. And
Hulk Hogan style.
Yeah, and I said, oh my God, is he hurt? Is he going to get up?
It was awesome.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
I saw this guy in action more than once. I like the McGuire for the hit that forced the fumble on Rodney McLeod, and then that got returned for a touchdown in the fourth quarter.
Oh, that was a big hit.
So yeah.
That was a big hit. So let me ask you guys this question, though. Okay, we came up with the 3 big Lipton hard iced tea hits. Which one do we want to go with? The biggest Lipton hard iced tea hit?
What do you think,
I got to say the body slam.
The body slam.
Oh!
Because he really would have needed that guardian cap for it. A couple elbow pads, too.
You know what? That hat. It's just like the one JOK wears, dude. Obviously, all we need to do is paint it with the Browns colors, and I guarantee
JOK, it's an honor of you, brother. You never quit.
And we will have it. Guys, on a serious note, before we leave this, it's sad. It's a sad day, isn't it? I mean, how can we... I just thought that our football team, I thought when you look at the athletes on our team and the players that we have on this team, that we're a much better team than what we're showing
You
right
know what,
now.
Hanford? Think about the fans. Those fans that had traveled out there to Las Vegas. I mean, I heard a lot of Browns fans were there, and then they got to travel back. And by the way, people complain how hard it is to walk from the Muni lot over there. I had my friends telling me it was like a 3-mile walk. You had to go to Mandalay Bay. Then it's 3 miles.
And it was hot.
110-degree desert heat to get to that. Horrendous.
I heard you almost went.
I almost did.
Yeah.
But, glad I didn't.
But I'm just I just feel so bad that our record is what it is right now, but we still can put it together.
We're trying to look to put it together. We got the good news about Nick Chubb returning to practice. I don't know if that's going to turn the whole train around. He probably still needs time to get fully ready, but, anything associated with Browns and Nick Chubb is positive vibes.
Well, I agree with you. That's a very interesting point. He gets a chance to come off the PUP list, and obviously that means, just like you said, that he can practice. But I don't know. You never know how that knee is going to respond, because again, that's 2 surgeries on that knee. But if anyone could do it, Nick like you said, Nick Chubb can do it.
It was almost career-ending in college, and that guy came back.
Yeah,
but before we go out of here, I got to say, I was thinking about going to Las Vegas, but I didn't get invited on that Top Dog private jet. You come out here to Burke, there's a jet out there with a big dog, Top Dog on the tail. Hanford, why didn't you invite me? Gab, were you on that jet?
Woof, woof. No, I played.
Gab
did
had to
some
do
baseball
baseball.
over the weekend.
She couldn't go.
that's
She had to
true.
do baseball. But you said you didn't want to go. You wanted to go, but you didn't want to go. So,
Okay.
but
All
next
right.
time
Next
you're
time.
on that jet.
All right, next
time
time
we'll
I'm on the
jet.
jet.
We got to jet out of here for another break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon Show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. We've got more Browns headlines for you as we look ahead. Browns versus Commanders, brought to you by Northeast Factory Direct. If you're looking to update your home, you've got to check out Northeast Factory Direct. They've got furniture, kitchen cabinets, hot tubs, mattresses, and so much more that you'll find for way less than any of those expensive fancy retail stores. And you can also shop online at northeastfactorydirect.com. You got to visit any of their in-stores as well. Cleveland, Euclid, Macedonia, North Canton. And don't forget to ask about that Hanford Dixon bonus.
Alex said he liked that too. That when you throw in that Hanford Dixon bonus, because he want people to come into the store. And I said, yeah, they have to come in, because when they say the Hanford Dixon bonus, that we're promoting it right here on Big Play.
And you'll get a good deal.
He told me to tell you hi too.
You know what? I just saw him this past
He's
week.
a nice guy.
I went in the store this week, and I got to tell you something. I had no idea how much they have in the way of kitchen cabinetry.
Oh,
Yeah.
And what they were telling me was they'll actually sit down and design your kitchen for you. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah.
And they got those, I don't know what you call them, the touch drawers where you just touch them.
They're not cheap.
The glide.
You know, they're not those cheap.
No, they're not.
They have really good prices, but
really
I'm talking
good
about
prices. Right. I was
product,
very
yeah.
impressed.
Yeah.
I was always I always liked the recliners, but they've got way more than recliners. I know you said the hot tubs, but if you're looking for some kitchen cabinetry, nothing better.
Oh.
Northeast Factory Direct.
Oh, yeah. High quality over there. Let's take a look around the AFC North, fellas. Before we look ahead to the Commanders and all that, let's check out everybody else in the AFC North. How about your boy Ozzy with the
No,
Ravens?
let's save him for last.
save him for
Let's
last?
save him
Of
for
course
last.
you do.
This is what I want to talk about, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this.
Sure.
Were you guys like me? Did you think that the Steelers would be 4-0 after yesterday's game? I thought there's no way that you'd have told me that the Colts was going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, you guys tell me. Give me some feedback on that one now.
Right until Joe Flacco came in.
Cowboys, Joe Flacco.
I shouldn't have let you say that.
But you know what, though?
Easy layup.
Easy layup. But you know what? I got to give Tomlin the credit that is deserved, but they're on borrowed time. They just don't have enough talent. When you look at the Ravens and some of these other teams, even, the Bengals, I hate to say it, the AFC North's so stacked, Steelers just aren't going to make it. All you Stellar fans out there, enjoy those first 3 games. It's going to be a long season.
It was one of the first, it was the first time the Steelers allowed a team to score more than 10 points.
Yeah.
Well, I another question I have to ask you guys, because sooner or later, guys, let's just face it, they have to make a quarterback decision. I mean, obviously, Justin Fields, he's won 3 ball games for him. He scored, 24 points yesterday. So they have been putting some points on the board. But sooner or later, I mean, Wilson's going to be ready to go. I mean, they have to make a decision at quarterback.
I know. And you know what? Those reporters keep asking Tomlin in the press conference.
He avoiding it.
He keeps saying, until he's ready to play, I'm not going to make the decision. Well, it's coming this week. Because did you see Russell on the sideline yesterday chomping to get in? He's not there to just sit and coach Justin Fields.
Do you know, though, they're only paying him, I think, about 1.6?
Only.
Because, he's under contract. He's got that big
he's got that big Denver contract.
Yeah. So he's not only making 1.6, trust me, it's about 40 or 50 million that he's making this year. But again, before we move on, I just want to say, I just thought the Pittsburgh Steelers, this was an automatic win for those guys. But the Colts are showing that they can play and they want to play, and they're showing up and playing. So let's go. Gab, where you want to go next? The Bengals?
Bengals.
Oh, you and your boy Joe Burrow finally won
Your
a game?
brother, Joe Burrow?
My lookalike, my twin.
You finally won a game?
We got next week. We got to have the side by side.
Yeah.
Especially when Joe's got the blonde hair. Rumor has it he was trying to look closer to his sister, so he went blonde.
Yeah.
He's a couple shades lighter than me, believe it or not. But yeah, Bengals offense is starting to click. They scored 67 points over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they. I tell you, it was a good ball game. Obviously, they didn't beat anyone. I don't think the Panthers, who they beat, but they got a big game coming up. This
against the
week
Ravens.
against the Baltimore Ravens. And talking about the Baltimore Ravens, I think the pro game of the week was the Baltimore Ravens against the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people, Josh Allen was picking Josh Allen and the Bills. But that Ravens team is scary, isn't
They're
it?
tough. They're just solid. You got to give Harbaugh credit. He's a good coach. And it's well-run management. Ozzy, tip your hat to Ozzy, man. I'd love to have him on our side, Hanford. Any chance he comes back to Cleveland?
Oh, not. I said any chance of having him back on the show. Oh yeah, we have.
We'll get him on the show.
We'll wait until the Ravens game, and then we'll bring him on here. But
love Ozzy.
Those Baltimore Ravens, man. I'm telling you, that defense right now is starting to crank it up. Guys, how about Derrick Henry?
Ooh.
I mean, what was it? The first play of the game when he just took that. As big as he is, I didn't think. And Derrick Henry is kind of old now. What is it, like 39 or something? And for him to hit that hole.
No.
He's pretty close.
No, he's old. Yeah.
He's pretty, or 29 or 39.
No, he's
29.
Maybe not 39. Yeah, maybe not 30. He's 30, 30, 30 so.
I tell you what, he's no young pup.
You know what I got to tell you? I can't believe nobody's ever grabbed that dreadlock coming out of the back.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
geez, you know.
But I don't know
Hey,
about.
but you know what I say about him? No, I don't care. He's an older back, but he stays in really good shape. I mean, no one
He's
works
30.
as he's 30.
You added a decade to him.
Okay. But no one
Hanford,
works.
he was
as,
born when you were in the league.
yeah. But no one works as hard as he. I mean, this guy.
He's extremely talented.
And
Just
I don't.
shy of 200 yards, was it?
I wouldn't want to tackle him.
Oh, well, I was going to say, Hanford, what do you do?
Oh.
It's between the goal line and him, and you're standing there, and he's coming full blast. What's your technique?
Well,
Come on now.
This is what I would have to do.
Close your eyes.
Antonio Pierce, the Las Vegas coach, he said that he didn't like the last game that his team played because he said some of those guys made a business decision, and he was talking to his defense. So my point is, when you have Derrick Henry coming at you, you have to make a business decision whether or not you want to go hit him or whether or not you want to go the other way. Or
Yeah, at least make an attempt for the shins.
yeah, you want to be able to play the following week. But no, on a serious note, I would go and I tell you what, I would go and hit him. I would hit him low though. I wouldn't hit him high. I would hit him
gotta
low,
hit him low, yeah.
because he's just so big. But the ball, getting back to the Baltimore Ravens, now 2-2 in the division. You look at it. Pittsburgh's still 3-1. They're top of the division. Baltimore is 2-2, and the Bengals are 1-2. And then where are the Browns? I mean, what are we? We won.
Head into the Redskins, Commanders.
Yeah, we're winding down our time here, but real quick before we take our last break, and we can chat a little bit more about it, but Browns, Commanders, as we look ahead here, I was going to ask you, Hanford, our D-backs and you being one, Emerson's struggling a little bit. What were your thoughts on him?
He really is. He's had a tough couple of games, but he's going to be okay. I still have a lot of confidence in this guy. I mean, he's a guy that he's got a short memory, and you hear me talk about it all the time. As a cornerback, you have to have that because guys are going to catch passes on you. These guys they're good too. But that was a good question. But let me jump on the Commanders real quick. Yeah. I mean, Dan Quinn has done a really good job with this football team. A really good job with this football team. And of course,
Jaden Daniels,
that young quarterback,
LSU.
He is playing out of his mind right now.
He looks awesome. So your guys better get it together. Time for you to go and coach some.
Well, yeah, and he's double threat, Ken.
Yeah,
he can throw the football and he can run the football. So this is not going to be a gap for an easy ball game for us.
Oh.
Everybody, when I say everybody, all 11 players on defense, you cannot take a play off. You got to converge on the ball every single down.
They're aggressive. They score a lot of points, 80 points in their last 2 games, and the Commanders have only punted once in their last 3 games.
I think I'm going to that game.
Yikes.
Oh, are you?
I think I'm going to that
On the
game.
jet?
Yes, on the jet.
On the Hanford Dixon.
We're leaving on a jet plane. Right now, we got to take one more break. We'll be back with more Hanford Dixon show right after this. Welcome back to the Hanford Dixon Show. It's time for our Survivor game. This is something that Ken introduced us to. Really quick, give us the rundown for
All right, everybody knows how Survivor works. You pick your team. You can only use it once during the year. 3 strikes and you're out. Winner at the end of all this gets $1,000 to the charity of their choice. Little recap last week. Gab and I both went with the Cowboys. She was thinking Chiefs, but then she got wise, although Chiefs won. She got wise, go with Uncle Ken and get the win. So we're still alive with 2 strikes, but I think the big news was both Hanford and Patrick taking the Jets. Aaron Rodgers down the tubes, strike 1 for both of them. So now, Gab, you and I are back in it, so let's go to this week.
Yes. Okay,
Who do you got? Gab.
I just by looking at this, Vikings 4-0 versus the Jets. I mean, that was where I wanted to go, but I heard that's where you want to go too.
Well, you could still go that way.
We can still copy each other.
Okay.
Yeah, this is all for the game. I mean, we're trying to win, aren't we?
That's right. So
Uh,
who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the surviving. Yeah, Vikings.
Vikings. Gab's got the Vikings.
I have
Hanford.
the Vikings too.
Oh, look at how cute you two. All right. Producer Patrick, who do you got?
Guys, I'm taking the Saints to beat the Chiefs on Monday night.
You have lost your
Saints to beat
mind.
the Chiefs
You
going
have
out on a
lost
limb.
your
All
mind.
right,
Check in
all
with
right.
me on next Monday.
What are you
Okay.
smoking over
They are
there,
4-0
man?
and they
You've
might be
lost
4-0.
your
Okay.
mind.
All right, that's why they call it Survivor. Good luck with that. I'm going with my man, Baker Mayfield. Bake, don't let me down, man. I got 2 strikes. I've been touting you all along. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's Survivor for this week.
See,
Oh,
you've
who are
been
the
you've been living in
Oh,
that
the
house you
Falcons.
have in Florida too long. That's your problem.
That's right.
Yes.
right.
Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I have to say this. You
Yeah.
know, Matumbo died.
Dikembe
I
Mutombo.
know.
Yeah,
Such sad news, and I
58
loved
years old.
I loved his
Isn't that
commercials,
sad?
and
Did
he
so
was-
much
he was-
great work for
Yeah.
the NBA
Yeah.
and
Didn't he build a
And for
hospital or
abroad.
built
something?
Africa. Yeah, tremendous.
Yeah, so that
What
was
a
kind of
philanthropist.
that was
Yeah.
kind of
And-
sad.
And of course, the famous finger wing.
Not on my watch. That's what he
Not
would
on
say.
my watch.
Great defensive player.
Yes.
Great defensive player.
Love the personality. He
It's like
brings
you
to the
try
game.
to shoot that shot, I would slap it down. Slap it down. Some people say I'm no
no.
good.
Oh, no. Oh,
I'm
no.
crazy as could be.
No.
Ring it up. Ring it up. Ring it
I
up.
get drunk in the morning.
OHIO.
I get stoned in the
Thanks for watching the Hanford
afternoon.
Dixon Show. We'll see you next
I
week.
don't like the way.
OHIO.
No.